Welcome to Farm Charm Chic. I'm Emily. In today's episode, I am taking some regular terracotta pots and making some fun and creative different types of DIYs out of them to display on your porch or your garden or wherever your heart desires. These are so fun and so easy, and I hope you enjoy each and every one of these. If you like crafting, DIYs, dupes, hacks, thrift flips, or just creating in general, I would love if you would consider subscribing. If you like any of today's projects, remember to hit that thumbs up, but let's go make some DIYs. I'm going to make a really cute candle riser out of these terracotta pots. It's just one pot and one saucer. I believe this is a 4-inch pot that I'm using here, and then just the matching size of saucer. So after I take off the tags on these, I'm just going to glue these together. I'm painting both the bottom and the top the same color so I can glue them together before I spray paint them. If I was going to do separate colors, I would probably or obviously want to spray paint them separately and then glue them together. But since I'm going for the same color, we're going to glue them together now. I'm just using some E6000 to do this. This is the best hold that you can have. I've seen other people use Loctite. I've never used that, so I'm not familiar with how it works, but I do know that the E6000 works great. So I'm going to do my best to center the saucer on top of this pot just by kind of moving it around so I can see. You have a lot of manipulation time with this E6000. It's not like an instant hold, and so you've got a little bit of time to kind of make sure, maneuver things if you need to. Now I have these clamps, and honestly I don't think these are necessary, but I was trying to get a really good bond between that saucer and the pot, but I think if you were to set it down and stack some books on it, you'd be just fine. So this is a really fun color of yellow here. I love this. I've been using it a lot so far this spring and summer, and I thought it would be a really fun, bright color to use to put on my porch. So I'm just going to go around this with the spray paint and give this a really good coat. Now I do want to mention that you always want to, at the end, if you want to have these protected really well, add a clear coat to each of these projects that I'm doing today at the end. That way they're going to withstand the weather, especially if you're going to keep them outside. Now after that spray paint had dried, I'm taking this inside, and this is just a white wax. I thought it would be kind of fun to maybe mellow this yellow, I love how that rhymes, but mellow the yellow down and make it look a little bit like it was weathered, kind of have that nice, if you've never used white wax before, it really does add a beautiful finish on there, kind of lightens it up a little bit. So you put it on kind of heavy, just paint it on with a brush or a sponge brush, or even just dipping a paper towel or something into the wax and putting it on. You just want to cover all of those nooks and crannies and grooves and everywhere with this to get a really good coverage. Once you've got the entire piece covered, you go back in with a baby wipe or a paper towel, and you're going to wipe this back. Now you can use a wet paper towel that will wipe, or a wet wipe that will wipe way more of it off. If you use a dry paper towel, you're going to wipe less of it off. So it just kind of depends on the look that you're going for. But the fun part with this is there's all these grooves that are in the ledge and everything on the terracotta pot that you can kind of see that wax kind of stays in. There's even a little blemish here that wax goes down and kind of stays in there and kind of helps show that. I really like the way that looks. So it's a matter of personal preference, but it's a little bit different than that antiquing wax that you've seen. And I just think this is so cute. You can put one of those little citronella candles on here on your patio or your porch. How fun would that be to kind of keep the bugs away and have, or even just a scented candle or something to bring that really nice aroma to your resting on your porch. I just love how this turns out. It was simple and fun, and I think it's really cute. When I was searching ideas for things to do with terracotta pots, I kept seeing lighthouses show up all over my Pinterest feed, and I thought they were so pretty, and so I really wanted to try to make my own. And they're so fun because you use them with just one of the little solar lights. I'm excited to show you how this one turns out because I think it's really, really cute. But you basically just need 3 or 4 pots that stack on top of one another, and then one little saucer. So it just depends on how tall you want yours. I do 3, and I end up using a 6-inch, a 4-inch, and then a 2-inch pot for all of mine. So I'm just spray painting them. I spray paint the saucer black, and then I just have a bunch of projects that I'm doing here. So I have several pots that I have here, but they were all being painted the same color of red. So you can see a couple of these little pots here, that bigger one of those medium-sized one, and then the smaller one are all the ones I'm using for my lighthouse. And you can make this whatever color you want. There were so many fun different ideas. I really kind of thought it would be fun to do a little two-tone look. When I was painting this, all I could see was Christmas when I first started. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm not ready for Christmas yet. But rest assured, we'll probably have Christmas in July coming up soon. But this doesn't look Christmassy once it's done, I promise. But all I could think of was like Santa's coat right here. But I just go very carefully around the edge on these pots here and get it as crisp and clean as I can. They're going to be sitting upside down, so you're not going to need to worry about if you get like inside of the pot. So they're going to be glued upside down on top of one another. If you're wondering why I'm using this type of pot for my little one with this little teeny rim, it's because I could not find any of the 2-inch pots with the normal size terracotta pot shape. So you can see I kind of just worked with what I had and went with it, and it ends up looking just fine. Dollar Tree, I had no terracotta pots when I went to look for them. So if you happen to find some there, stash up on those. So now I'm just adding some E6000 on the inside of the pots that I'm going to be placing upside down on the other pot. You can see just around that rim where it's going to make contact. And then you're just going to let these sit for at least a half an hour to a couple of hours to kind of get their firm hold on there. And then you can move on to the next step. There are so many different ways to decorate your lighthouse, and I went back and forth on a couple of different ways, but ultimately I decided to do an arched doorway on mine, like an opening, as well as for the windows I did some little square window panes on both the middle pot and the top pot. I decided to freehand mine, and if you guys have watched me, you know that my freehanding is not the greatest, but I'm okay with that. So I know it is what it is, and I actually think it turns out really cute here. I'm just using for the little window panes here, just a paint marker. This is an acrylic paint marker. You can pick these up in the craft section at Walmart and Hobby Lobby. I'm sure any craft store will have them. Amazon you can get them from, but I love them because it is paint, and so I'm just outlining the square, and then I'll go back in and color that in. Now, if you're wanting to have a little bit more of a professional look, you could use like a cutting machine to get like your squares or that arched window. But look at how cute this is. This light on top of here is just a solar light I picked up at Lowe's. You can use even the ones from Dollar Tree. I just took the stake that you would stake into your ground outside off of it and just set this down on top of here. And I just think this is such a fun, beautiful thing to make out of some pots. How cute would this be to have for a little evening party that you're having out on your patio and have these light up all around, the lighthouses that actually light up? I just think this turned out so dang cute. What do you guys think of this one? I always say that I am not the biggest gnome fan unless it's garden gnomes, and we're going to make this the cutest little garden gnome. And I really know that gnomes are very popular. You either love them or you hate them, or maybe you only like them in the garden or you love them all over your house. This is such a fun one. So I'm just taking 2 pots here, and I chose to do one without a lip for the base here, and then the other one that has a lip for the cute little hat. And I just thought it would be so fun to paint this turquoise color on the base. This is like pretty traditional gnome colors. Maybe like almost reminds me of Papa Smurf, the colors that I'm using here. But I'm just doing a red color for the hat and then that turquoise color for the body of our gnome. And then once I take these inside here, you can kind of see that this is so smooth and flat, the base here. And I picked that one up at Lowe's, and Walmart was where I got all of my other just traditional shaped terracotta pots here. And these are the 4-inch size for the hat, and it's about just a little over 5 inches on the base that I'm using. But you could easily use one of the traditional shapes for the body here. Now I'm going to just freehand a beard on here. I thought I couldn't mess this up too much freehanding a beard. We'll see what you guys think at the end here. But I'm just kind of going with eyeballing it and just getting my best at what the shape of a beard and how long. I might have gone a little bit long, but it turns out all right. But I'm just going to get the outline done first, and then I'll go in and fill it in. It did take a couple of coats to get the coverage that I wanted, and on the last coat I went ahead and just kind of pounced my paint on there to give a little bit of texture, so it was kind of shaggy looking like a beard, and it looks really, really cute. So it's got a really thick coat of paint on that last one. You could even add a little bit of like plaster or something into it to give it even more texture. So now I'm going to glue on our little gnome's hat, and I'm just putting some E6000 on the rim of the inside, just where that pot is going to make contact with the base there. And then you're just going to, I mean, it's easy peasy, just set this on, make sure that you get a firm hold there, like that you make sure that the glue is where it's touching the gnome's body. For the nose, I'm just using a bead from some Christmas tree garland. I love to pick that up at Hobby Lobby when they start to get their Christmas in, which PS guys, they've already started getting Christmas in. It's not on sale yet, but keep watching because I love to get 3 or 4 strands of their beaded garland. You can get it for like $5 and you get tons of beads on there, and it comes in a lot of different shades on the wood color. I love to have those to craft with. Now for the little hat here, I thought it needed something on the top of it, and I kept going back and forth of what to do, but this is just some cord that came with a Dollar Tree shelf that you hang. But I mean, any kind of yarn or embroidery thread, well, embroidery thread might be a little bit thin, but just any type of like the cording that you can pick up in the automotive section at Dollar Tree. I'm just making a little pom-pom with it. I just like rounded it around my finger several times and then tied it off in the middle and then cut the ends, and it works perfect to make a cute little pom-pom on top of this guy's hat. Isn't he the cutest? I just think he's so fun. I love those traditional colors of a garden gnome. To me, like turquoise and red with that white beard just is like a traditional gnome colors. I don't know. Do you think the same? Or maybe that's just me, but I just thought he turned out so cute. He's going to be so fun displayed amongst all of my pots on my porch. I just think this was so fun. And if you've got a gnome lover, what a fun gift to make for them. This particular project with these terracotta pots is specifically for my daughter. She is in love with this whole mushroom craze that's going on right now. I have to be honest, it's not my most favorite, but this does turn out really cute. And she, when she saw this, was like, Mom, you have to make that. That's going to be the cutest thing. I would put that in my room. So this is truly for her. And if you love all of these fun mushroom designs that are out there right now, you're going to think this is perfect. But truthfully, this turns out so cute and would be so cute scattered in like your flower beds or something. So I'm just taking just one pot. This is one of those pots without a lip. I feel like these worked best for the bases of these, but again, use a traditional shaped terracotta pot if that's what you've got. And then you just need 1 or 2 saucers to go on the top for the cap of the mushroom. So I end up using 2, but I've seen it where you can just use 1. So if you want to cut down on costs, or maybe you only have 1, you can definitely do that. So I'm just giving the base of this a really good coat of the white. It's kind of an off-white. I think it's called heirloom white, to be honest with you, of the spray paint. And then I just did traditional, like a red color for the mushroom cap, but you could easily do some different colors, some greens, some blues, purples. I mean, the possibilities are endless, but you can see how these saucers stack on top of one another. So again, 1 would be fine. 2 just kind of gives it a little bit of an extra look to it, which I really did like. So E6000 is my go-to on all of these terracotta pot projects because I just like the hold that it gets. Again, I've heard and seen people that have used like the Loctite glue. I'm not as familiar with that, but I've seen that it works, so you could also do that. Gorilla Glue would probably work fine also. You just want to make sure whatever you're using is going to withstand the elements. If you're going to have this outside, like in extreme heat, like hot glue is not going to cut it for you. And so you just want to make sure that like wherever you're putting this, you're using a glue that's going to like suit the needs of your item there. Now after I got the one cap centered, I'm just taking some glue to put around the rim of this one, and then I will just flip this upside down and place it on top of the other cap. Some of the glue did seep out underneath the edge of that second saucer that I placed on there, so I'm just making sure to go in with a paper towel or baby wipe and just wipe that up so that way you don't have any of that glue that has like seeped through or anything. Now, part of the fun thing with these is the little polka dots that you put on the mushroom caps. And so I'm just taking one of these little sponge tools. I picked this up at Dollar Tree. Any craft store, Walmart will have them. And then I'm just placing it in my paint, swirling it around a couple of times, and then I'll place it here, and you can kind of see I swirl it back and forth. You just want to make sure, I feel like you kind of have like a one shot with this. You could probably go in a second time, but you risk kind of ruining or compromising your polka dots there. So I really just wanted to get each of them like with one shot. And it's kind of fun and stressful at the same time trying to decide where to place your polka dots. Do you guys struggle with that at all? Like paralysis by analysis? Like you sit there going, oh, where do I put the next one? Is it going to look okay? Like, do I dare commit to this? I kind of went back and forth on several of these. And in the end, it looks fine. You just kind of run a fine balance of getting too many or too few. Don't be afraid to go off like the edge of the pot, the saucer though, and have like a couple of half polka dots there, just kind of showing that's kind of how it would naturally occur, I guess, or something. But have fun with it. Don't stress about it too much. I think I stressed a little too much over this, but in the end, I think it turns out just fine. Where there was some grooves in those saucers, some of the sponge didn't make contact with the pot, so I'm just going in with just a littler brush to kind of fill in those gaps, to kind of make those polka dots or those dots on there look completely like they're whole and not broken up. So that's also an option. You'll kind of notice that happening with the ridges there, and this solved that problem really well. I think this turned out really cute. It has a very whimsical feel. And again, like these mushrooms are so popular right now. And my daughter was so adamant that I make this. So I'm excited to show this one to her. I think it did turn out really cute. I'm going to have her pick out a spot in the flower bed of where to place this. I just think it's cute. And to have like 3 or 4 of them would be really cute to kind of scatter them all throughout your flower beds. What do you guys think of this one? Are you into the mushrooms or do you like this? Would you try this one? I really love how this project turns out. It's one of my favorites from today, so hopefully you like it too. Now, I picked this little glass jar up at my thrift store, but I am making a gumball machine out of these terracotta pots and this glass jar here. So Dollar Tree has a lot of glass jars the same type of shape, or you just really need something that would be like the glass portion of a gumball machine. So you might already have something at home, but definitely check Dollar Tree. Now, I was trying to use my pliers to remove this like metal wire that's holding that lid on, and it was a lot stronger than I thought. So I got out my heavy duty snippers there, and it made quick work of getting that off. I just don't need the lid because I'm going to use something else. So I'm using a 4-inch terracotta pot as well as the matching size saucer to do this project with, but you can make it whatever size you would like. I've even seen little miniature ones that are so cute. So I have this wooden bead that I'm going to use kind of for like the finial at the top of my gumball machine. You can see in the center of the saucer there, I have this little wood round chip. It came in like a package of a bunch of different wooden shapes I bought at Hobby Lobby in their woodpile section. So I'm just kind of trying to build it up and make it look like it's part of the gumball machine. So just a little bit of E6000, and I did fill the hole of that bead since the bead it's not like a solid round bead like wood bead, it's got the hole drilled through it. I filled it up with hot glue to kind of disguise that so that way it doesn't look like just a wooden bead that I've put on the top. Now I'm going to spray paint the top and the base of this with just some red spray paint here, traditional gumball machine colors. If you watch me on this, the finial I have glued onto the top of the saucer. It ends up getting painted red because that's what color I'm spray painting it. If you maybe wanted it a different color, and this is kind of one of those in hindsight, I went, I would maybe do that a little different. It looks fine that it's red, but if you wanted it like a chrome color or black, maybe don't glue that onto your saucer until after you've painted it the color you want and then glue it on. It ends up looking fine, but it's just one of those details that I happen to notice that I'm just passing along to you if you want to do something different. but you can see you'll place your terracotta pot upside down. You'll end up gluing your glass jar onto that, and then the saucer, you just want to make sure whatever glass jar you're using that the saucer fits over the top to cover it. Now again, E6000 is kind of the star of the show today with all of these terracotta projects. It works really well at bonding these together and will withstand the elements. And whether or not I put this outside, I think it just depends on what you put in it. It's just so stinking cute. I might just leave it like on my kitchen counter. My kids thought this was absolutely adorable and loved it. And of course, I think part of the appeal was the fact that it's gonna have like candy or gumballs in it, but they really liked it. So I'm going to paint on the little faux mechanism here of where you would get your gumballs out of. So I'm just using some metallic acrylic paint. And this goes on very watery. And the reason I'm telling you this is it's going to take you 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 coats to get it to look really chromy. Is that even a word, chromy? Chromish? You just want that chrome to look really nice and everything. So just know that it's going to take you a couple coats. I would paint this on, and I'm using just a bigger brush to kind of get that square shape. And then I would use my heat tool to dry it, paint another layer on, use my heat tool to dry it. And I went back and forth probably close to 6 or 7 times to get that really thick on there. And then I went even with a littler brush to go in to do a couple of coats. You can kind of see here. I just want to stress the point that the metallic paint, when you're doing projects like this, to get that really, really good thick coverage, it's just going to take you several coats. One finishing touch that I did off camera was I added that 5 cents on there just using a Sharpie. You could even use like a paint marker to do that, but I thought that was kind of a fun little detail. But how cute is this? I am so excited to put this out either. And I don't know if I'm going to put this outside on my porch or if I'm going to put it just like on our kitchen counter like I had mentioned earlier, but I think this is so cute. Now guys, I did not put gumballs in here. I do not love gum in my house. I feel like I find it like in places it shouldn't be all the time. So instead I put peanut M&Ms. I felt like they were really colorful and fun. They're kind of the shape of gumballs, and my family absolutely loves peanut M&Ms for a treat. I'm curious to know, would you put gumballs in this, or what kind of snack or treat would you put in your gumball machine? I just think this turned out so cute, and what a fun idea. These DIYs were so fun to create, and they just scream summertime to me, and I just think each of them would be so beautiful like on your patio or your porch, even in your kitchen or somewhere, but in your garden, make a fairy garden. All of these have such versatile things that they could be used for. I just think they all turned out really cute. Do you have a favorite? I just love this little gnome. He's so cute. I'm not super big on gnomes. I know I've said this before, except in the garden, and I think he's the perfect little garden gnome, even just to sit on a table on your porch. I like each and every one of these. It's so hard to pick a favorite. I do love the little candy machine or the gumball machine. Of course, that's what my kids' favorite was, because they all started thinking of so many different fun types of treats they could keep in there. But every one of these would be so fun, and they're easy enough that you can do them with your kids or your grandkids as a little craft project. They're so fun, and I just think they all turned out absolutely beautiful. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Happy crafting! If you liked the video that you just saw and you want to keep crafting together, here's another video that you might enjoy. And as always, remember to like and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you next time.